Thinking about buying a franchise? Then the How to Buy a Franchise show is just for you. Here's your host, Dr. John Hayes. He's the author of numerous best-selling books about franchising and an international speaker at franchise conferences. Dr. Hayes is one of the few people in the world to be an advisor to franchisors and franchisees.
Hi, I'm John Hayes with the How to Buy a Franchise show on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. I'm talking to Jackie Pierce. She's been a franchisee for about 4 years of Big Frog. Big Frog is custom t-shirts.
Yep.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, so tell us, what were you doing 5 years ago before Big Frog? What was Jackie doing?
It's kind of a long story. I was a soccer mom. I was that stay-at-home soccer mom for about 7 years. Before that, my background is in accounting. I'm a CPA with a degree from Purdue University, way back when. So the kids were going off to college. The empty nest was happening. I was ready to get back into the store, back into the workforce. And
you didn't want to go get a job? How franchising, where'd that come from?
I didn't want to go back into corporate America. I had spent some time there. I didn't want to do it. I had some volunteer experience that set me in charge of a nonprofit's resale store. I know it's not the same animal, but I really liked it. I really liked managing the store, running the volunteers, running the inventory, running all of it. So
you wanted to be a store manager. And
yes.
Then how did you discover franchising, and how did you get familiar with it and decide, I'm going to do this? I
had a little bit of experience in my CPA career with franchising. I spent some time with a rather large chain internally, monitoring franchisee financial compliance levels. I did that for 5 years in the Metroplex, and so I had some knowledge of the franchise world. So when I couldn't find something that was just out there for sale, I went looking down the franchise world.
How did you do that? Did you get a broker? Did you go online?
I did not. I went online. I went to Google, and I organically found Big Frog custom t-shirts on my own.
How many franchisees did they have at the time?
I am store number 59.
Okay.
So
generally when you're an accountant, you have a background that's very, you're a stickler for detail. You like facts,
yes.
Figures.
Yes.
There's black and there's white. There's no in between. And are you that kind of a person?
I was.
Yeah. And, okay. But then, and those kind of folks are frequently anti-franchising or difficult to come around to see it the way, because franchisors expect you to do things their way, even if it's not your way, and even if you don't think that's the right way.
Yeah, there's a lot of truth in that, but I understood my strengths and my weaknesses. I was an accountant. I was a business person. I got all of that. I could do the inventory. I could do the numbers. I could do all of that up and down. I didn't know how to start a business. I didn't know marketing. I didn't know advertising. I didn't know
customer relationships.
Yeah, exactly. All of that.
Accountants aren't always great with making people feel comfortable.
Right. That was definitely me. So I was looking for a partner, and a franchise is a great way to get that partner. You get to do things on your own, and if you follow the system that's there, you can expect a lot of success. Okay. So.
But why Big Frog? There were, 4 or 5 years ago, there were 3,500 different franchise opportunities in America.
Yes.
And so why
t-shirts? There was in my soccer mom years, I was frequently the person that was on the organization's board to buy t-shirts. So it's kind of, I consider it one of the pieces of the puzzle that fell into place. I always said to myself, there has to be a better way to buy t-shirts. There has to be. It was the most frustrating thing in the world. So there's that piece, there's the owning the store piece, there's the franchise world piece. It all kind of came together. I don't know how Big Frog ended up in my feed. I don't. And the very first time I looked at it, I said, but it's a t-shirt store.
Yeah. What are you going to do with that?
Right? How are you going to grow that? How are you going to know that? In the end, it's about, there's a creativity piece, and yes, it's a retail store, but it's also much more of a service than it lets on.
What was the investment? How much money did you have to invest to get in?
I was all in for about $240. Now, that included my build out.
Okay. But, $250,000 for a T-shirt place.
For a T-shirt
You could
place.
have had a food place or
I had to
some
have
other kind of service place. And
Yes, but I had to have a lot of confidence in myself, and I had to have a lot of passion about what it was to know that, yeah, I'm going to drop $240,000 and make this happen. So.
Okay. And so were there sleepless nights after you did that, thinking this might not have been a good decision?
Many, and I would argue there's still some sleepless nights.
Why do they happen? What can you remember? Recount some sleepless night problems?
Again, I bought into a franchise concept that was relatively new, young. They were still developing as I was still developing being an owner. Some of the bonus things that I thought I might get from buying into a concept weren't in place yet. Think advertising, think marketing, think these things an accountant typically aren't good at. It came to dawn on me about 4 or 5 months in that I needed to get out of the store and I needed to market because people needed to know who they were doing business with in Fort Worth.
A lot of people think that if you buy a store concept, turnkey franchise concept, you can stay behind the cash register in the store and greet people and have a nice day and protect your money. But what if people don't come into the store?
Yeah, that's just not the way it works anymore. People want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. They're not going to know, like, and trust you if you're behind the cash register. So you have to get out.
So where do you find people who want to buy 1,000 T-shirts, or that's probably not a typical order?
It's
More
not.
Like 40 T-shirts?
It's not. Well, our business, works on the no minimum. So I get a lot of one-off T-shirts. Customers come into the store and they just want a gag gift, or they just want a Christmas gift, or they just want that perfect shirt for St. Patrick's Day. So we do a lot of one-offs, but I do get those 1,000, 2,000 shirt orders, and I've gotten those from me networking in my community, getting out, meeting people, joining the chamber, joining the other business associations, going to the meetings regularly, because you don't turn around business after meeting somebody for one day. It's more about them thinking about you 6 months down the road. Hey, I know where I can go.
But for an accountant, you weren't an extrovert, probably.
No.
So was this hard for you to go to the chamber and stand up in front of all those people and say, "Hey, I sell T-shirts"?
It was the most challenging thing I have ever done in my life.
Yeah.
And it took me realizing, like I said, about 4 or 5 months in, that I had to do this or this was not going to work. I've never been not up for a challenge. So this was the biggest personal challenge of my life.
So you really got over that hurdle. Well, you had to get over the hurdle.
I had to.
Or you were going to lose $240,000.
Yes, I had to.
Yeah.
There was no question about it. I can hire a manager. I can hire people to stand behind the counter. I can't really hire people to go sell the product the way I want to be seen and sold.
And do you spend most of your time selling the product out,
Yes.
marketing?
Yes.
Has it gotten better in terms of people dropping in and saying, "Hey, I want
Yes.
50 T-shirts"?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. What do you wish you had known before you started the business that you didn't? And you'd say to, if I were calling you, you'd say, "Here's something you better know straight up."
Social media is your absolute friend or your worst enemy.
Okay.
And get out and market before you actually open the doors. I didn't do that.
Okay. So let's go back to the social media. Either is going to be your friend or your enemy. How has it been your enemy?
It hasn't for me.
Okay. Why is that?
But I've worked very, very hard to make sure it's not. I work with Google. I work with Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter a little bit.
You and the president.
Yeah.
If he could tweet for you, you'd be...
I don't know if that would be successful. But yeah, you have to have a good image online because that's where people are going. They're going looking for reviews. I do it with everything I buy, whether it's a shirt, a dress from Amazon, or whether it's a new
meal.
car or a meal.
Yeah.
I go and look for reviews. So that's what social media is. It's just a necessary piece of modern business. It really is. You can't avoid it.
So are you doing your own reviews, or are you asking people to do reviews for you?
I don't do either. I let people do what they're going to do naturally. I don't want to ask for reviews. I certainly don't pay for any sort of reviews. It's just we provide an exceptional customer service, and people are willing to talk about it. And when people talk about it online, that's a natural organic review.
Yeah. And doing it the right way and building the business by the franchisor's methodology is something that an accountant or a personality of an accountant can do very well.
Yes.
If they can get out of their box and go out and say hello at the Chamber of Commerce, I sell t-shirts.
Yeah, you have to get out of your I had to get out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
I had to step out of that set of shoes. And again, hardest thing I've ever done in my life. But one of the most worthwhile.
Yeah. How has the business changed today? You've been at it now for almost 4 years. So how is your life different now?
The number of hours I spend working has gone down because as my business has built up. That's a natural. We've seen quite a few more competitors come into the marketplace. Struggling with that a little bit. Managing the online presence is a constant challenge because the entities of Facebook and Twitter and what have you are constantly changing the rules on us. And so it's about evolving, it's about maturing, and I don't think that's ever done.
And do you rely greatly on the franchisor to this day
Yes.
to help you, and they do a good job of providing that support and training?
Yes, absolutely. I would argue they've gotten 110% better at it since I came on board.
Wow. You were number 59.
I was number 59.
And they have how many now?
They have, I believe, 82 open.
Okay.
95 or something sold, something like that. They are my partner, and that's how I view them. They are my partner in this. Do I need them every day? No. Do I need them every week? Probably no. But when I need them, they're there. And they will help me with anything I ask them to.
And as your system gets bigger, the effect of marketing and advertising that you wanted from the beginning will also improve because
Yes.
there are 80 some of you contributing to the marketing fund
Right.
and buying marketing exposure, and that helps build your brand.
Absolutely.
Takes time.
And I've noticed the brand becoming, most people 4 years ago had no idea what Big Frog was. I now have people coming into my store saying, hey, I'm here because I saw this store in another market and I like you guys. So it's building, and it's exciting to see.
People who want to buy a Big Frog, do you encourage them to call you and
Yes.
come and visit you or come to work for you? Or
Absolutely. I've done all three of those things.
Yes.
I've had a couple of people come to work for me, and they're like free labor for a couple days, right? It's great, but it gets them some great insight. It also gets me great insight as to whether or not they might be a good fit for our family, because we are a family.
Who shouldn't do this? Who would you say, look, this is not for you?
Anybody who's in it for just the money. I don't know that there's a franchise concept out there that you're going to get wealthy at in your first year. So if a franchisee comes to me and they say, hey, I want to make $100,000 in the first year, yeah, this is probably not the right bet.
Yeah. But you can make $100,000 after.
You can get there.
Okay.
Yeah, you can get there,
2,
but it's going to
3
take some
years
hard
or
work.
6 years or what's?
I think that depends on the owner.
Okay.
I'll be honest, I haven't gotten there yet, but there are definitely owners in our franchise concept that have.
Yeah.
And I'm working for it. So,
Very good.
yeah.
Thank you so much for
You're welcome.
sharing this kind of information. This is very helpful to people who tune into the How to Buy a Franchise show. They want to know these kind of details. They like to see real franchisees like you who've lived the experience and can also help them out. If they want to buy a Big Frog, they'll call you.
They'll give me a call. Absolutely.
I'm John Hayes. Thank you for watching the How to Buy a Franchise show on YouTube.
Thank you for listening to How to Buy a Franchise Show. If you want immediate assistance, visit howtobuyafranchise.com to contact Dr. John Hayes for a free consultation.